So what do we regret? There's a lot of research around regrets, and I think one of my favorite things is Bronnie Ware's Five Regrets of the Dying book. One of the things she says that one of the most dominant regrets that people had was I didn't live a life true to myself. Another one was I wish I hadn't worked so hard, and a number of other things. But researchers last year from Cornell found that across all these different surveys of old elderly people and what do they regret, it really came down to two things. There's an aspirational self, who you want to be, who you aspire to be, and an ought to self. This is our responsible self. This is what we want to contribute to our families, our friends, our lovers, our communities. And the interesting thing they found is that when we fail, failing to meet the aspirations ends in regret. But when you fail for the ought to self, a lot of the things that we hold ourselves to are really things that we can actually fix in the moment. And they found that people much more often go after the ought to self beliefs in themselves than the aspirational selves. So I thought that was interesting to share. And I think what I've found as well is that there's probably a range of people. Some people are never going to go after their aspirational self, right? Or don't even have this conception. But this course is really for the people that do have those dreams and want to take risks and be bold and be brave. So learning is something I'm really pushing people to reframe. Learning is not something that means acquiring credentials and then getting access to a job. I think our work model and our labor economy is shifting dramatically. I think that work is actually getting better, especially for people with college degrees. It's just that the opportunities are much more higher stakes and higher bar of achievement, which means you need to learn new skills. And not only that, you need to keep learning throughout your career, right? I think 35 years ago, an accountant that started out after graduation could pretty much do the job 25 years later. And that's just not true anymore. There's new softwares, there's new regulations, there's new demands on what that kind of person has to deliver. So third one is creating success. A lot of people, when they're starting out, think about success in terms of output metrics or vanity metrics, followers, likes, clicks, money made. And I think this is a terrible frame if you're just starting to create stuff. I mean, the pressure to be successful is unavoidable, and we're going to hold ourselves to high standards. But the model I like to offer to people that at least enables them to breathe out and relax a little is that you need to find things that push you beyond your capabilities and help you close a gap in ability, confidence, or knowledge, right? You can do this through micro experiments, larger experiments, or you can do pro bono work to get feedback. And the whole goal is really just to figure out what to do next. Did you like what you did? Did you not like it? Do you want to keep doing it? Things like that. And then finally, I've really been thinking about this a lot, which is a lot of people have this second chapter in their journey, which is they reach a point after getting some sort of money, job title, credentials, power, or even a phase in their life or a health crisis. And they say, well, that's not going to work for me going forward. The problem is that second chapter is incredibly messy. And you often have to define different metrics that are not as easily judged both by people extrinsically and internally. So it's a lot more frustrating. So I think a big intention with this course is really to give you more foundational awareness and kind of frameworks and perspectives to help you navigate this. Not saying I have answers for you or here are the 10 hacks, but there are different frames and different models that you can follow. And then you'll probably see David White a lot in the course. He's probably one of my favorite poets. He was a naturalist who worked in marine biology, explored the Galapagos, worked for nonprofits, was a conservationist, and then decided in midlife he just wanted to become a poet. And so he navigated his own journey while also trying to bring alive the essence of that through language, which I think is really powerful. And I love his quote here, which is that the journey doesn't have a clear path. It can be a release then to think that when we first come across the idea of a pathless path, by definition, we are not meant to understand what it means. Now, if you're somebody that's like, this is terrible, I do not like this quote, this course is probably not for you. And so I wanted to share that. It's definitely something that resonates with me and excites me in a way of not knowing and really just embracing that uncertainty.